got the notification.
That's good. So welcome to the PSGL FP season finale involving 4 drivers, and that includes AMS, Jolyon Manu, Jack Lacey, and also Ugi Azim. And today joining me in the commentary box, it is Big C, the 7-time PSGL F1 champion. Thoughts?
Yeah, no, obviously, a four-way fight. It's like unprecedented, really. I don't think in season 18 F1 we had a 4-way fight, but this is closer than ever. I think the car allocation looks juicy, so, the final ever Malaysian Grand Prix for the FB League, so, yeah, I'm excited.
No, so am I. And I'm just going to get the link shared out on Twitter. I mean, I'm not going to say too much. I'm just going to say it's a 4-way title fight.
Yeah. Well, in terms of the standings, it's AMS on 73 points, 2 points clear of Jolyon Manu. So AMS will be in the Toro, so Joel will be in the Williams, and Jack Lacey is down in 4th, but with Ashbest not attending due to being on holiday. So yeah, Jack Lacey on 67, so he's got 6 points to make up, and he's in the Haas. So I think, it's going to be tight. We saw AMS matching Lewis in F1 yesterday, so we know AMS has got the pace, and obviously Jack, one of the best wet drivers in the league as well, and he's very strong around Malaysia, so it's hard to predict. And of course, Ugi Azim, you can't forget Ugi Azim in all this. He could be the Kimi Raikkonen in 2007.
No, I agree with you. And what do you think about the circuit itself?
Yeah, I think I would definitely prefer it to some of the other Tilka circuits, like China. I think there's some nice flowing corners. Maybe the last set is a little bit tricky, but it's a shame to see it go. It's had some good races over the years, but we're getting Hockenheim and Paul Ricard back, well, on the calendar, so I'm not too upset. I'll give it a little lag.
That's good. I'm going to put it on the PSGL FP Twitter just to kind of ramp up the affairs a bit. We'll do the little finger emoji as well. The one that says like click here.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to lighten it up a bit.
We've only got 2 viewers at the minute, so we don't need to speak too much.
No, save our voices. That's what we need to do. So I wonder if we could get a driver in here. Maybe Jack Lacey and Jolyon Manu might be the drivers to invite.
Yep, I'll get them in. Jolyon Manu and Jack Lacey. Obviously AMS doesn't like to speak.
No, well, AMS very silent man ahead of this race. I wonder what impact the silence will have, on AMS. Does it kind of move him away from, all of the other drivers, and it will allow him to focus a bit more for this race compared to maybe Joel and Jack, who might be talking prior to the race.
Definitely, and Jack's now joined us, currently 4th in the championship on 67 points. He has 2 wins to his name, so if any of the drivers finish level, Jack will move ahead on wins. So Jack really needs to win today. And Jolyon Manu is now with us. So, good news.
Yeah, well, I just wonder, Big C, the amount of pressure that some of these drivers are gonna be under. Some of these drivers have never been in title finales. 7 years in the making is what it's been billed as for Jolyon and Manu, and I just hope that today will be his day. But Jack Lacey likewise will want a shot at it as well, won't he?
Might as well start the questions here and then.
Yeah, no, might as well. We'll start with Jack Lacey, obviously, former PSGL F1 champion. That was your last title on the site last year. Do you feel like you can do it again this time around in FP, and would that cap off what would be, a mixed 2017 game for you?
Yeah, it'd be nice to actually win something. It's going to be tough, though. I think that we'll have to win the race to win it. I think if I don't win, it's going to be tough, because I think if I finish 2nd, then the MS has to finish something like 6th, I think. And if I finish 5th, we draw, and then I'll win because I've got more race wins. I think it'll be a tough one if I don't win the race. But if it rains, then I'm pretty optimistic.
Okay, no, that's good to hear. And I know it's a very hot day, and where you are, will that have an impact on how you perform mentally and physically during the race?
It's got a bit cooler now. It's late in the day, so I don't think it will.
Okay.
I'm kind of used to it now. So.
Yeah, that's fine. And Big C, do you have any particular questions for Jack? I mean, you might as well fork them out. Got 10 minutes.
Obviously, Jack, you're not had as much success as you'd like. You know, would winning on this game in F1, would like winning the FP title sort of save it a little bit, or aren't you too bothered?
I mean, as I said, it'd be nice to win something at least on this game. But if I don't, then I'm not really too bothered. I was only in this league for a bit of fun, really. But if I win it, I win it. And if I don't, I don't.
Lovely. On to Jolion Manu then, Aaron.
Yeah, Joel, you know, I've been a good friend of yours for many years. You know, it's been billed as 7 years in the making. You know, some may say it's 7 years too late, but you know, time, you know, is only a number. But could this be your day? And if so, if you were to win it today, will this be your best day in league racing?
Yeah, if I was to win, it would definitely be the best day in this past 7 years, even though I'm probably the slowest I've been in those 7 years. But you know, you gotta take them when they come, and yeah, I would really like to win tonight, but you know, Jack's very quick, AMS very quick, and quite frankly, I've not really been up to scratch here, and I made a few mistakes earlier in the season, so if I lose it, it's my own fault really, so yeah, well, fingers crossed. I would like to win it.
No, I think many of us would like to see you win it, but you know, it is going to be in God's hands for this one, Big C. Have you got any questions for your good friend Jolion and Manu?
Yeah, Joel, do you feel let down by your teammate who's been, according to some reports, hit with a bit of swine flu, so there'll be only one Big J car on the grid? Like, do you feel let down, or are you just fully focused on yourself and the job at hand?
You know, I think I'd rather watch the stream back with decent commentary if I do the job, so no, I'm not let down at all. He's been more than helpful this season, so yeah, we'll see. If I do well, the constructor is still possible.
Lovely. Any more, Aaron?
Just one thing, you know, a question for both of you. You know, if you were not to win the title today, which one of your title rivals would you like to see win the most? And I'll start with Jack Lacey.
Joel.
Okay.
Yep.
On to Joel then.
Yeah, Jack.
So, you know,
only because AMS obviously doesn't have a mic, and you know, I've played club with Jack, and he's been in the F1 league for a long time. It feels like it anyway. So yeah, it'd be nice.
So a little bit of cozying going on, Big C. So I wonder if there'll be any sort of joshing going on there during the race.
Like me and you against Remco back in the day, but we'll see how it plays out.
No, we definitely will, Big C. So while the viewers are flying in, all two of them, all five of them. No, I'm sure people will watch this back. But when the racing gets going, that's when, you know, the floodgates will open. It is a warm summer's day as well, but it's not about the amount of people who watch now. It's about those who may watch the stream back. You know, some of those who may wish to show their grandchildren the stream, you know, 50, 60 years time. You know, on what could be a historic day for, you know, whoever is champion. Maybe Ugi Azim could come out of the blue. Who knows? You know, that would be a story rung through all the towns and cities in Pakistan, you know, for days to come. If that was the case, since it would be something out of the blue if he was to do that. But
well, thanks. Yeah, thanks to Jack and Joel. Best of luck for the race, and yeah, hopefully we'll hear from you afterwards.
No worries.
Yeah, I'm just going to join the lobby, Big C, so your voice will be muted momentarily. Clicked on Oogie Azim.
Oogie Azim.
Yeah. I
Why are you going in there?
Oh no, I went in the wrong one. That's right, I'm in the right one now. I wonder, Big C, would it be possible to get JP Greenwood in here very quickly? Because I know you want...
Yeah, I'll definitely get JP in. I think he doesn't get enough airtime, someone say. So we'll get JP in. I think he's on... he's had a great season, you got to say. He's had a few good points finishes. And if there's one man who wants wet weather, I think it's JP Greenwood.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
I think JP has been in fine form recently. 2 points finishes in Italy and Austria, and here he is, JP Greenwood. He's in good form.
He's in great form, is JP Greenwood. And I know there was a deal that was struck, with Simo and JP Greenwood in our last race. I'm sure JP, hasn't forgotten it, but, he did volunteer to give us a lap on board around Malaysia when everybody else scatters back into the pit lane. So, would like you to stay for that duration, if possible, JP. But just in terms of this season finale, it's been a good season for you, hasn't it?
Reasonably, yeah. I think when you beat your points total from the season before, you can be reasonably happy with that. If I look back on the season as a whole, there's 2 races that stick in my mind: Brazil and Bahrain. I've missed opportunities there where I could have scored points in those races. And even though the points I did score in Austria and Monza, I thought I could have done better in those races, to be honest. But yeah, I'll walk away from the season relatively happy.
No, that's good to hear, JP. And just going to ask Big C, JP, who would you like to see, win the title today? There's 4 contenders: Oogie, AMS, Joel, and Jack Lacey, all F1 drivers of the highest quality.
Yeah, I think I said this last week, but I think AMS would be my pick, just because I know he shows me a lot of support in my F5 races. So yeah, got to give him some back, and we have a lot of banter between ourselves in the chat. So yeah, I'll be rooting for him tonight, and I don't know how much favours I could do him on track, but nevertheless, I'll give it my best.
Big C, any questions for the old JP here?
Obviously, JP, you've made some good progress towards the end of the season. When we go into F1 2018, we'll have the safety car and other features. Are you expecting a bit more in 2018? What do you want to achieve moving forward?
Yeah, I'm more likely going to finish the 2017 era without a podium, which is down on the 2016 game, but. I don't know. I struggled with this game at the beginning, but as you say, I have progressed in the last half of this season. So going forward, yeah, I want to be finding the podiums really in both leagues I race in. To be honest, that would be satisfying.
Yeah, lovely stuff. Hopefully, we'll see a lot more of JP next season, especially with the safety car in play. Hopefully, so thanks, JP.
No worries.
Okay, but would like to. When you do come out of the pit lane, JP, it'd be good to get a lap commentated on board from you.
I'll give you a shout
as a driver commentator.
Okay.
But then we'll ask you to leave for the season finale. But you are more than welcome to come back in should a DNF occur mid-race.
I'll see you on lap 11.
All right, mate. If a safety car was working, I'd have you as my teammate in the same league, and we could always make arrangements every race. Yeah. I do love a few greasy palms, but we'll leave that for another day.
Yeah, so just minutes away. Obviously, you've won 4 titles, I've won 7, so 11 combined. We've won many title finales ourselves. How do you usually feel going to a race of this magnitude?
I feel relatively confident. If I know I've got drivers out there on the circuit who've got my back, then I will know that I'm in good hands. If I've got the pace, if I've prepared well for the race, then I know that I'm best equipped going into it. But ultimately every race is dynamic. There's weather, there's other drivers to contend with, so anything can happen. But as long as you've prepared the best that you can be for that particular circuit, then it's in your hands really. So, not too many nerves because, once you've been there before, you know what it takes to get to the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, definitely. And JP, obviously you've done a lot of Grand Prix and PSGL nowadays. Some races are more nervous than, other ones. Obviously, for the guys fighting the title, how do you calm the nerves before a race? What sort of things do you do, just to chill out and remain focused?
I think in seasons past that I was nervous, especially sitting on the grid, waiting for those lights to go out. But nowadays, I'm pretty calm. I know that when I'm on form, I can fight relatively well against some of the front runners. So, I'm still pretty calm these days.
Lovely, and it looks like people are lighting up. So hopefully we can get into the qualifying. Rain very likely. Monsoon conditions could be on the cars. Obviously, JP, it's fair to say in the wet you seem to fare a little bit better than the dry. Is there any reason for that? Is it set up? Is it can you explain it to us?
I've done a lot of practice in the wet this season compared to previous seasons. So yeah, I've just practiced things perfect. That's what it's down to. Nothing really major, just simple stuff really. So anything can happen in the wet, and especially around Malaysia. So hopefully, some opportunities will present themselves.
They can indeed, as we saw yesterday with the rain and a lot of drama going on in F1. But just a quick review of the driver standings going into the title finale. It's AMS on 73 points, with Joel on 71, so 2 between the top two. Ash Best is third, but he's away on holiday again on 69, and Jack Lacey on 67, with Ugi Azim with an outside chance on 60.
Thank you very much for that lovely intro, Big C. I'm just wondering, emotionally, how will drivers be feeling? We all know the mental aspects, but what about the emotions, at this point in time? This could be a dream come true for someone, but...
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I always like to say people usually have at least one chance to win a title during their league racing career, and, if you get a chance, you've got to maximise, and I feel for Julian Manu, it's now or never.
So if he doesn't do it tonight, maybe he never will.
Unfortunately, I think Josh had a chance of a title in one of the 4-0 face or pit lane reporter. I don't know if he can join us tonight, but he had a chance a few seasons ago against McPhee. He missed out, and he's not been near since. So you've got to make the most of the opportunity while it's there.
No, I agree with you, Big C. But, what will happen, will happen, and whoever wins the title will fully deserve it. But, there's 4 drivers in contention for the title tonight. So the top 5 in the standings in PSGL FP are all F1 drivers in the PSGL F1 League. Does that kind of show their quality above, maybe the drivers, the rest of the drivers on the grid?
Well, to put it bluntly, it's sort of to be expected, but I think the calendar arrangement sort of favour the F1 drivers. They've been practicing all weekend for F1. They do F1 on Monday and the FFP on Tuesday, so they're fully practiced. The likes of Haig, Frome, those sorts of guys, they've not practiced for the track yet, so they're not going to be at optimum pace. So obviously for next season, hopefully we can sort of balance that a little bit more and favour the non-F1 drivers, and hopefully have some non-F1 drivers actually in the league, so balance a little bit more.
No, I agree with you, and I think we've still got JP here, haven't we? So I'm sure we'll make an arrangement when he comes out of the pits.
Yeah, I'll leave that to you. But obviously rain very likely in Sepang, the final time for the Malaysian Grand Prix here in PSGL.
Yeah. So looking like we've got Juho Finn on the grid today, a driver who's seen many seasons, he's seen many title finales, I don't think he's been in many himself, but he will know the nerves that some of the other drivers will have, so he might not impede the title contenders tonight, should they emerge behind him. But, there will be other drivers out there racing to destroy, such as QPR Beasts, Mr. Grumpy, Flying Frome, all looking to have a piece of the cake tonight, so it'll be interesting to see how those drivers react against their counterparts.
Definitely. We'll see what the weather has in store for us here in qualifying. There's a few complaints from the drivers about the low sun, the sun setting. So we'll see if that catches a few drivers out in Stonewall. But it is raining intermediates, it looks like. So maybe
Yeah.
JP can surprise us. We can see the wet weather specialists in action, the likes of Jolyon Manu and Jack Lacey.
Yeah. So these conditions may favour other vehicles. Joel is in the Williams today. You know, a car that's very good in dry weather conditions, good in horsepower. But you know, for Jolyon and Manu, these are the conditions he would not have wanted. And I wonder if Haig will say anything about the race. He says it's a wet start to the race, and rain will get heavier in quali. So drivers will need to be out there very early to set their lap time. So this is going to be interesting. So out comes Wacko, but I don't know if Wacko's the man we want to be watching. We want to focus on the title contenders. AMS is coming out in the Toro Rosso Big C. So he's chosen the Inter tyres. Is that something that you would have selected for these particular conditions, or would you have risked it on the full wet?
I think what Haig's saying is correct. You know, you've got to get that on those intermediates. You know, you've got 5 laps of fuel. He's going to be doing a 2 time laps now, whatever. You're going to have 1 or 2 time laps. You've got to deliver all on the table. It's moments to win titles.
Okay. I don't know if you're lagging or whether the stream's lagging. If somebody could clarify that in the comments, that would be great. But at the moment, AMS is going to be dreaming. These are the perfect conditions if you're in a Toro Rosso powered by Renault engine. You know, that's exactly what you want on traction. So he will absolutely be welcoming in this. And heavy rain in 10 minutes in quali. So Big C, it was your voice that was lagging slightly, so that's fine.
How is it now?
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. So thank you to our viewers. Yeah.
Just let you know I'm out on track.
No, that's fine, JP. We might have a look in your second flying lap, maybe, if you're going for another time lap. So let us know when you're about to start that. But
okay.
Jolyon and Manu's out there as well, Big C. But I think AMS might be the first driver we go on board with. And then I think it's Jack Lacey who's next. No, it should be Jolyon and Manu who's behind AMS on track. So we will go back on board here with AMS here. Big C, do you want to take us through this?
Yeah, so AMS in the Renault Power Toro, so a great chassis, and if there's any lag, just let me know so I'll stop talking. So AMS with a bit of traction outside the final corner, and he puts the power down. 4 laps of fuel on the run down to the tricky turn 1. He's obviously got ABS on, so it's going to be an easy, heavy braking zone. Look at for the 100 metre board and turn in slightly, click the apex where he's got a few issues there, I thought, on my screen anyway, but you know, this Toro, so I've driven it a few times. It's got beautiful power delivery and a great chassis steering.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at the way AMS is throttling that car out of the corners. He looks very smooth on traction. I did say the Renault would work really well in these damp conditions. Obviously, he's one of the first drivers out there to trial these conditions for himself. The wet weather specialist, Jolyon and Manu, not in the best car. And looking at AMS struggling absolutely for power out, but look at that. He's gone down to up to a high gear there just to make sure his car can get around the corner. So AMS, look at that, he's absolutely wrenching that Toro Rosso around. You can feel the wrench in my voice as AMS absolutely pushes at this moment in time. Big C, how is this lap looking?
I mean, I think the first half of the session, he was on a nice side. Oh, a big oversteer moment for AMS. You know, the pressure of the tile has to be getting to him. He's not a wet weather specialist, so you know the pressure and that fact is probably affecting him slightly. But you know, the Toro is a good car in these conditions. But this part of the track is so tricky, easy to slide under braking, especially with the guys running a little bit of higher ballast. They will be running fairly high ballast, even though it is wet. But I thought he clipped the apex nicely there. But I think this lap's a sighter. But with the rain getting heavier, that has to be still of a decent pace.
Yeah, and you just wonder here, where is AMS going to put it? You know, Jolyon and Manu's out there, Jack Lacey's out there, everybody's out there except for Dano and Juhofen staying in the garage. Walker goes faster at 46.2. Where will AMS put himself on the grid? Oh. It's 8/10 off, it's not good enough, but what about Jolyon and Manu to the line here in the Williams Mercedes? And he goes second, that is crucial, he's just pipped AMS. Now Big C, where is Jack? Where is Jack?
Lacey next, Jack Lacey, final corner in the Haas Ferrari. Not great in the wet conditions, but surely P2 is on the cards for Jack Lacey. And it's P1. A 45.7 for Jack Lacey. What a lap.
Unbelievable. Now, this is a moment we've been waiting for. JP is in 13th at the moment. The lap times are tumbling down. Warren Haig goes 3rd. QPR Beast goes 6th. But a man who wants to take us through a lap, JP, live on board with 11 viewers watching the stream. Take us through this lap.
Yeah, so I thought it was a hard, decent exit there, the last corner, coming down to turn 1 now. Hard on the brake in there. Oh, gone. Yeah, not really wide, it's slightly wide there. Yeah, I like that one, but again, I'm green at the minute, so not doing too bad. So I'm going up to turn 3 now. And yeah, braking again. Don't want to be too heavy on the throttle coming out the corner because it's easy to use the back end.
How's the oversteer?
Still up on my time at the minute. Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Not braking at the minute, just taking my foot off the gas really. It's slightly down, but still okay. I'm still confident. Yeah, I did cut this corner nicely round here, but I missed the apex to be fair, so yeah, not great. And then coming down for another heavy braking corner again. Tight entry there, and then you get a good exit. So I've gone green. I'm 3 tenths up at a minute. I've got. Oh no! Yeah, screwed that corner up. But
it's
yeah,
right.
not
I think conditions look to be getting worse. I think conditions are getting worse.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not overly great. Yeah, it's getting really bad out here. Yeah, I'm 3 tenths down, but yeah, I'll take it to the line and see what I can do. But I'm getting green again, but I still don't think it's going to be quick, to be honest. But I'll see what this last corner can do for us.
Yeah, that's much better, I think. Nice little nice line there.
Yeah, I didn't improve it. That felt quick at the beginning, but yeah, I think the worst conditions is just it wasn't a quick time, unfortunately. But yeah, I think the wind's coming down a bit heavier now, so yeah, I think I'm just going to pit it and then see
so
what
no
goes
chance
on.
to improve then, JP. No chance. You
No.
think that's the grid order's pretty much going to be set then for the remainder of quali.
Yeah, I wasn't going to be expecting the top 10 start anyway, so just go. So yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. So
go on, Big Sir.
thanks. Yeah, I thought it was a decent lap up until that last sector, but I think the pressure and the conditions were just getting that a bit worse. So it's a shame, but you know, it's great to get that sort of insight. You don't get that in other leagues. So thanks, JP.
No, JP,
No
just push through the remainder of the sector while the conditions are dampening. Come on, the viewers need to see something. Come on.
Oh,
I can see
I'm a
something.
bit low on fuel, but I'll give it a go.
Just push.
You see, JP, look at the apex there, but look at the conditions. It looks to be heavy rain now. JP fighting his Mercedes. This last sector, you know, he's 6 tenths down, but I think there's time to make up. We saw him run wide, but look at that, Aaron. A nice apex there from JP.
Yeah, I think it's too little too late. If he'd nailed his first lap, he might have found himself higher up the grid. It wasn't a bad lap time from JP Greenwood in the end. I'm only 2.5 seconds off pole at the moment. But
That was a much better corner than the last one, to be fair, but yeah, it's still not going to be enough.
It's not going to be enough, but Aaron, I think we have to notice. Look at that. Jack Lacey, only on a Manu, down in P.
yes, so
there.
your voice was lagging slightly, but it is Jack Lacey on pole, you know, 3 tenths off AMS, so it's a front row for Jack and AMS, and if Jack wins, he wins the title. AMS, JP Greenwood into the pits, but Jolyon and Manu 9th from the grid. He has got his work cut out. There's drivers you don't want to be behind, you know, in a race of this magnitude. That's Mr. Grumpy, that's Flying Throne, that's Game Freaker, that's Warren Haig, that's QPR Beast, and Jolyon Aminu, who finds himself in 9th, and those drivers in front of him are very, very tricky and difficult to get past. So Jolyon Aminu not getting the lap in of his life, and it's too little too late, Big C.
He's left the party.
He's left the party, so there's been an issue with the co-commentator, but I'm sure he will be back. But Jolyon Manu, it's just too late for him. And, you know, one thing you were saying, JP, conditions are definitely not improving, so the grid order is pretty much going to be set as it is. So, yes, this is going to be very, very interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I'm going to go out again on the. I'm going to change to the wet tyres. I won't improve my time, but I'm just going to see what the conditions are like. Really, it's just a
Yeah. It's good to monitor the track conditions.
Yeah, just to see what the conditions are like out there, and gives you a bit of a feel. Should there be heavy rain during the race?
No, that would be good. So we're just looking at who else is out there. Jolyon and Manu obviously out there, but it's just too little, too late, and he will be absolutely annoyed. I've got to invite my co-commentator back. Just one moment. The party is now public, which isn't what I wanted. So the drivers are retiring from the session. We'll just get Big C back in. I don't know why the party's gone public, but well, we'll have to make that private slightly. And then, yeah, but not a good qualifying, is it, for Jolyon and Manu, who found himself down in 10th. So somebody's improved.
Dino's on pole. Dino is on pole position.
Wait, are conditions all right then?
It looks like it. Hopefully my internet's been sorted. If not, just let me know.
Okay, we missed all that. So Dano's taken pole. So does that mean drivers are out there that can improve? I don't know who to go on board with, Big C, at this moment in time. I know Jolyon and Manu is on a flying lap, so I think we should probably stay on board with Joel. And look at that, he's drifting it around the final sector. Oh, no. That's an awful line.
Yeah, Joel's struggling. He's very inexperienced, I'm afraid, when it comes to wet weather driving. And the wheel and paddock is completely different in these conditions.
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to improve, but he will have one last effort, so maybe conditions will improve towards the end, and he'll want to be one of the last drivers crossing the line, as he is. But where is Jack Lacey? Look at him, he's drifting around in the final set, so I wonder if there's any improvement in store for the Haas. So Dano on pole has actually frustrated things for Jack Lacey, but Waco's got himself in front of AMS, Big C. Waco's got himself in front of AMS, and Grumpy's out.
Yeah, I mean, Waco and Jack are great friends, so perhaps Waco could help out Jack as a title battle progresses. But I like that grid. Dino will be in the mix. Waco's up there. Mr. Grumpy's up there.
Oh, so, Jack improved.
It's a good.
Jack improved. Sorry, he did improve by attempts. So I wonder if AMS will have a reply. Where's Jolyon on Manu on the track? He's in the first sector. We'll go back on board with AMS here, Big C. Look at him. He's drifting.
Yeah, the wet weather is so difficult on a wheel. The lack of traction, he's just not got the experience. And look at that, the rain's just coming down so fast at the moment. A lot of oversteer in that Williams. A poor chassis, so not good in the wet.
But AMS, Big C, he's furthest up the road here.
AMS. Sorry, I was on board with Jolyon and Manu, my teammate. So yeah, AMS has to improve. He needs to get ahead of Waco or even Jack. But I mean, conditions just don't look great out there. But guys are improving, so I'm just not sure. Into the final corner, the casting line. You don't want to be taking the racing line. It's the casting line in these wet conditions. Yeah. So AMS to the line. Can he improve?
Oh,
P3
what a lap! What a lap! But Jolyon and Manu, here we go as he comes round down the back straight here as the track undulates on him. There's a lot of standing water there. In that final sector, there's a bit of traffic to contend with. It's Juho Finn who's out there. But what can Jolyon and Manu do? He needs this to be the lap of his life. And what can he do? Where can he put it on the grid? He goes 8th. It's not good enough, but it will do a 10th more, and he would have been 6th. That would have felt so much better, but it's only 8th for Jolyon and Manu. A man, Big C, he's been waiting for this moment for 7 years. He's never won a championship, but he's 8th, and he will not be happy to see Jack and AMS 2nd and 3rd.
He won't, but the race is where the points are run, Aaron.
They are, but if you look at the pace differential between Jolyon and Manu, Jack and AMS, it's 9 tenths, 7 tenths. There's a massive gap to overcome, so pace may not be good for Joel, but the race is going to be underway. It's going to be Dano on pole, Jack 2nd, AMS 3rd, Waco 4th, Grumpy 5th, and then you've got Frome, Game Freak in 7th, Joel 8th, Hagen 9th, QPR Beast 10th, and Ugi Azim in 11th. Let's just rule him out of the title fight now. Let's just rule him out.
Yeah, I think Ugi is one of the worst wet weather drivers in the league, I'm afraid. So Ugi Azim's got his work cut out. But I think Dano, back-to-back pole positions, he just needs to make a strong start off the line. In that, I think he's in the Ferrari. So Dano could be one to watch. Can he maintain the lead this time? In Russia, he would just drop like a stone.
Yeah.
Do you want me to stay in the party or do you want me to leave?
JP, if you could just tell us the track conditions very quickly at the moment. What's
right,
expected?
so beginning of the race, it's going to be light rain, then it's going to go dry conditions in the middle, but expected to light rain at the end.
Okay, staying for the time being.
Okay.
And if there's any changes,
We need that
on whether that's
invaluable
right.
insight in these conditions. But yeah, Aaron, it's the biggest race in some people's careers. It's the final of Formula Performance. Who will win the title? It's a 4-way title fight.
It's AMS versus Jolyon Aminu versus Jack Lacey versus possibly Ugi Azim. The heartbeats will be racing. Leona Lewis looked on in the Renault garage, the special guest here tonight. And it is going to be 5 lights. And we are away in this final. It's a great start from AMS. He's got a much better getaway from Jack Lacey. In fact, Jack Lacey's recovered. He's recovered ground, so it's going to be 3 abreast down into the first corner here. And Jack Lacey goes down around the outside, and he's got the move done. I don't know if AMS has picked up damage. He's touched the back of Dano there. And look at that Woko down the inside. What's happening there? And AMS down to 4th. Not a great start, but Jack Lacey in dreamland at the moment. And I wonder if Mr. Grumpy is going to have a piece of the action as AMS covers off. No, he's going back for the move on Woko, and the move's going to be done. And Woko has picked up damage, so that's not good news for him. Where is Joel? He's up to 5th. Joel's up to 5th, and he's got Woko to contend with, who's got damage. He needs to make this move as quick as possible. There will be barking on the mic here, Big C. Look at that. Look how close he gets.
He got a great start from Jolyon Aminu there, but he needs to dispatch this Renault as soon as possible for the championship. You can see AMS just ahead. It's crucial he gets past, but Jack leads the Grand Prix and is in a title-winning position as it stands.
He is, but look at the action going on behind. There's a McLaren defending from a Force India there, so QPR Beast making a good start as well, further behind. JP Greenwood down in 14th at the moment, behind Ugi Azim, so the grid is relatively tight, and I think only Woko picked up damage in that. So I wonder if Joel's going to be able to make the move. He doesn't look very competitive in these conditions at the moment.
No, he doesn't have the experience, but he's made 3 places up from the start. Jolyon Aminu up to 5th. But as we know, Mr. Grumpy on throne. Mr. Grumpy's made the move on the flying throne. In the Red Bull, I think Mr. Grumpy's one of the best wet weather drivers in the league on the site. And you know, your teammates with him, and he's just showing why he's so good in these conditions.
Yeah, and I just feel like he's eyeing up QPR Beast. Game Freaker runs it incredibly wide in the Haas, and QPR Beast treats himself, or tries to, but I think Mr. Grumpy may have the speed power advantage over the McLaren Honda. Joel 9/10 behind Woko at the moment, who's only 6/10 behind AMS. AMS struggling. Don't know if he's picked up damage. There's a Force India in the background of Flying Throne trying to make a move on Mr. Grumpy here. The olden goldies are going at it here, and is he going to make the move around the outside? Grumpy doesn't like to give up his position easily, and look at that, protects that position with absolute class. But he's, yeah, beautiful.
Experienced defending there, but Warren Hayes lurking. Warren Hayes also lurking, so lots of midfield tussles going on. But QPR Beast only 0.2 of a second behind Game Freaker.
Yeah, and you know, we know Game Freaker, you know, very well. You know, his career's been winding down. You know, will he be on the grid next season? Who knows? He has said he doesn't know whether he's getting the new game. So this may actually be one of the last times you see Game Freaker, you know, flying the flag, you know, in Belgian colours here, doing a fantastic job in the Haas in 6th place. But further up the road, Woko is not letting go of AMS, Big C. But you know, what do you think is going to happen between, you know, these 3? You know, Woko is the cork in the bottle separating Joel from AMS, but it is Jack Lacey who will win the title if it finishes like this.
Yeah, and just to know, what does front wing damage just doesn't make much of a difference. Well, it makes a difference, but it's just not as, you know, significant in the wet conditions. So Woko may have damage, but I don't Monza, and the damage doesn't really affect the car in his pace. And look at his pace; he's just pressuring AMS with P3. But as it stands, Jack will be the champion. So he'll finish level on points with AMS, but he will win it on races 1.
Yeah, and Jolyon Aminu, you just hope that he can find a way through. He looks all right at the moment, but look at that, nobody able to make inroads. QPRB struggling with power output against Game Freaker. Much better on traction, much better on grip, but Game Freaker just has that speed in a straight line, and the Haas is not very good in wet weather, is it? So that's
I think it's the worst chassis just behind Williams, and the chassis is so important in the wet.
Somebody's just gone into the pits. I don't know who it is. It's JP Greenwood. So JP, I'm just going to go on board with you in just a second, but what's happening? You know, why have you gone into the pits?
Yeah, unfortunately, on the second lap running down to turn 1, I collided with Duro, and it was enough to give me red wing damage. So yeah, I had to pit, unfortunately.
Yeah, so we're just
unfortunate for JP there, but QPR Beast is pressuring Game Freaker, but Woko is right behind AMS as well.
Oh no, they pitted it on soft tyres.
It's soft. It's slicks for JP, Toto Wolff, and the crew. A bold strategy call there, Aaron.
Yeah, disaster. There's a movement here. Froman, Mr. Grumpy. So I wonder if Haig's going to treat himself here. We'll just have a look at the tyres.
I think QPR Beast is closer to Game Freaker. There's yellow flags out there. QPR Beast looking for a move on Game Freaker.
Oh.
Side by side now. Game Freaker's gone wide. He's always wide in the way it's Game Freaker.
He is, but look at that. QPR Beast using all of his experience. I wonder if Game Freaker's going to run him out, but no, leaves plenty of space. And that's how racing should be, you know, leaving each other space and accepting when the move's done.
What's the Force India doing? Oh, the Force India. No, it's look at these midfield tussles. It's all
Grumpy down the inside. Oh my goodness me! And will Haig have a slingshot? Haig might have a go here at Mr. Grumpy. Grumps does not want to give a position up to Haig. They're fierce rather. Joliana Manu's made a move on Wacko. They're fighting. They're tussling. It's the battle for 4th and 5th. And I think Joel is going to get the move done here. Wacko goes right back into the slipstream. The tussles behind. There's 4 drivers. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them finds himself embedded into the barriers. But here we go. Wacko and Joel. And Joel, there's a disgusting turn in from Wacko. If I was Joel, I'd do the same next corner. And Joel has got the move done for the time being. CC is out. So I wonder what happened there.
Yeah, CC's struggling in these conditions, but Jack and Wacko are great friends, so I think that turning was too aggressive from Wacko there. I don't know what you thought of it, Aaron, but very aggressive.
We've got to ignore that for a second because Mr. Grumpy and Haig have just exchanged positions from the majority of the lap. But yeah, it was quite aggressive from Wacko, but yeah, it's done and dusted, and now QPR Beast has got Flying Throne behind him, so Game Freak is struggling in these conditions at this moment in time.
Definitely, so QPR Throne will be hoping to close up to the likes of Wacko and Jolie and Manu, but Dino set the fastest lap on the last lap. It's now got the lead. Now just 1.3 seconds, so could Dano, of all people, be the man who dictates where the title goes? Will it go to Jack or even AMS? It's hard to say.
Yeah. And I just wonder, has JP made it back to the pit lane? Obviously, there's been a problem somewhere.
I think we've just got team radio in. I think Mercedes decided to keep him out there. He's staying out. So JP's gained a place on the slicks. He's up to P13.
I think maybe more drivers should follow his lead and come in. And oh, look at that!
Oh, a bit of oversteer from Frome on the exit. Sorry.
That's all right. What's happening behind Big C? Look at this.
Game Freaker. You know, he's looking vulnerable. He's looking very vulnerable there. Warren Haig down the inside. Oh, an experienced manoeuvre there, and Warren Haig knows how to get moves done. He gets what he wants with Warren Haig.
He does get what he wants. I do want to see if Game Freak has a go back at him. I think Flying Throne's too far behind for a move, but Game Freak is having a tussle down this back straight here, and I think Haig will be experienced to just cover this one off. The Haas tries to grip, and Haig says, no, you're not going to have it. But look at that. Game Freaker is doing a great job to apply Haig under threat, and he's actually reclaimed that position. So they're getting very close to each other. I wonder if Mr. Grumpy might get a better exit out of the corner. So we're watching it on Grumpy's perspective here, and looking at Haig takes the position, and look at that Grumpy down the inside, and no, Game Freak just sees him at the last moment, and I think Grumpy may have to wait another lap behind Game Freak, but will he have the extraordinary grip of the Red Bull to get that position back? I don't think so. It's close, isn't it, Big C?
Yeah, it's very close indeed, but Warren Haig got the move done now. Mr. Grumpy's got to stick behind in this tricky middle sector. You know, you can't really make a move, but if anyone can, Mr. Grumpy can. He's done 200, 300 PSGL races. He knows how to overtake drivers such a Game Freak. He's been doing it for years. So it's just a matter of time, I think, for Mr. Grumpy.
It is. I mean, the title battle is the one that people want to watch at the moment. So the gaps have stabilised at the moment. Joel not really closing in on AMS, which is you know, a shame for him, but Jack Lacey could be a PSGL FP champion by the end of this. But look at his extraordinary midfield conditions. Joliana Manu! Joliana Manu! Oh! 7 years in the making, 7 years down the drain possibly, and now there's going to be cars overtaking him left, right and centre, Big C. And look at that, Game Freaker is going to be the first to dig the knife in here.
It's a heartbreak for Julian Manu. He can't lose this position to Game Freaker, but I'm afraid the head might be down. The head is dropped for Julian Manu as he taps with Game Freaker there, who was a bit roasty on the X, but Julian Manu. Heartbreak for everyone at Big J with Eugene down in P11. The Constructors and Driver Championship will not be coming home.
It won't be, but I'll tell you who might not also be coming home at this rate, Mr. Grumpy. If he's having this many tussles, he could be caught up in one by the time the race is over. But beautiful move there to dispatch Game Freak, and Oogie Azim might have a look very shortly as well.
Indeed, Oogie Azim. But Aaron, I think it's going to be Jack versus AMS for the title. AMS has to finish second to win the title. That's what he's got to aim for, beating Dano. That's the aim for AMS now.
So if he finishes second, he wins the title, doesn't he?
Yeah.
JP's out!
JP.
Oh my goodness me! JP Greenwood embedded in the tyre barriers, and Toto Wolff looks away in disgust. The amount of damage that JP has caused to the Mercedes team for the entirety of this season is unreal. Oh, what a shame, what a shame. But Warren Haig is going to be the next to have a bite at QPR Beast. And Big C, you know QPR Beast, he's good friends with Joel, so what will happen?
I think. Oh, Frome's had issues. Frome had a bit of issues there, a bit of oversteer next week. I think QPR is just doing his own thing, but I'm afraid for Johnny Manu, it's not looking likely today. It's looking very, very unlikely now.
It's bleak, no safety car, no nothing. All he needs to hope for is that there's a collision elsewhere on the grid. 7 years in the making, and look at this, has Joel giving up the ghost there. Mr. Grumpy is ready to take that position. No sympathy for Mr. Grumpy today. Good friends he may be with Joel, but he's running his own battle out there. But he stays behind. I think he realises, a title battle is special, but Grumpy doesn't take any prisoners, does he?
No. Sensible driving from Mr. Grumpy, but I think Joel is struggling in that Williams. It's not a great tyre wear, especially in these wet conditions. He just doesn't have the rear end stability. And, Joel is just really struggling out there. I just hope he can keep it together and get a few points. Because he doesn't, secure third in the championship and bring it home with a bit of pride.
Yeah, and there's one thing that people may question about Jody Manu. He brought himself a wheel on the Sunday. Often races on the pad, and he's actually raced this race on the wheel despite minimal running on it. So is it a bit of naivety, Big Steve, for this one? Despite warnings to continue racing on the pad.
I'm not sure what JP thinks of it all, but it's a very strange call from Joel to go onto the wheel very last minute. I don't know what you think, JP.
Yeah, it seems a bit of an odd thing to do, really, especially of this occasion, really. Just stick to what you know. Try and practice on the wheel during the off season, not in one of the most important races of your life or your career.
Yeah, I think couldn't agree more, mate. Couldn't agree more. Now, Mr. Grumpy is closing in on Johnny Manu. It's just a matter of time. I think that Red Bull is just fantastic in these wet weather conditions.
Yeah, and I think QPR Beast is also struggling slightly as well, so Warren Hayes may pressurise him, but Jolien...
Oogie Azim here, and Oogie Azim, he's up to P10. Game Freaker drops to P11 for the final point, and the Constructors' Championship will be coming home to Oogie Azim and Ashbass as it stands. Who's watching
there's a move here! There's a move here! Jolien Manu's lost another place, and his heart must be absolutely sinking at this moment in time. He's got to continue, he's got to keep going. Track conditions may still change, there's an absolutely long way to go. I just don't know where he lost it and why he lost it. But Jolien Manu has lost all confidence. And look at that, conditions are drying, Big C. They're drying. I can tell the dry patches forming on the circuit. So this could, this is a crucial moment, isn't it, for the likes of AMS and Jack Native to make the right calls. One lap too late, one lap too early, and it could have severe consequences.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting for the medium tyres or the soft tyres. I think it will be the soft tyres, but obviously when it dries out, the mediums do tend to perform better at the start. So it'll be interesting to keep an eye on how quick we get onto some slick tyres.
I think it could be as early at the end of this lap with the way it's drying up. It might be a tad.
I've just had confirmation from Bob Fernley. Bob Fernley from Forcing It. It'll be a couple of laps, he reckons. 2 to 3 laps will be on the slicks.
2 to 3 laps, then it may be.
But no, it is drying out very quickly, so we might see a gamble. We saw JP go for a gamble a little bit too early, so it'll be interesting to see that. So I think Duo Finn or Game Freak up, just go for it. You might as well. What you got to lose? But it is drying out a lot quicker. The humid conditions here at Sepang, it does tend to dry out a little bit quicker.
Yeah, no, I'm just going to go on board here with Jack Lacey to see if Jack decides to go in. Obviously, Grumpy's very good in these conditions, so he may find himself higher up the grid. Joel in the Williams would actually fare a lot better in drier conditions, so if only he kept it together. But, you know, it's ifs and buts, you know, it is what it is now. You're down in ninth and you find yourself a long way off the lead. But if you get your strategy call right, it can all go in your favour. We've not got the DRS enabled sign. There's still some wet patches out there. It might be too early and Jack of what doesn't go in. Will AMS make a big call? No, very conservative. And
Hugi Azim, Hugi Azim's ahead. So Jolyon Manu, I mean, it's getting worse and worse with Joel. Claire Williams looks disgusted on the pit wall. He was P4, and now he's down to P10.
No, Joel doesn't go in. Oogie goes in. Mr. Grumpy goes in. They feel like the conditions are ready for slicks. So this is a very massive call for some of these drivers. Oogie Azim slows it down just. Oh dear. I wonder what tyres they're going to pick. Game Freakers in. So this could be an interesting move. They could actually catapult themselves up the grid should they get the call right. Grumpy goes mediums. He's not sticking around for anything. And look at that good pit stop for him. Will Haas now jump Oogie Azim here. They're going for a set of soft, so...
What a stop from Renault. Renault just get ahead of the Red Bull there. So a great stop from down at Renault. Cyril Bitbull looks on, but we need to look at the sector times. Look who's setting purple sectors. So let's just keep an eye on those the delta between the guys.
Okay,
Oogie Azim, 21.7 behind Eurofin.
Yeah, and I think that gap's going to be rising. You know, we've not had an indication from race control that conditions will, you know, be ready for slick tyres. We've not had the DRS enabled yet, but Jack Lacey, I think he feels it in his loins at this moment that, you know, the championship could be coming home.
Definitely, and Oogie Azim now 22.5. He's lost 0.8 of a second to Eurofin. Mr. Grumpy's ahead. DRS enabled.
It's time.
DRS is enabled.
It's time. It's time. And Oogie Azim just cut off, and that's a crucial move there for Grumpy, getting that position. So if he gains enough through the middle sectors, he may actually make inroads. But surely, Jack Lacey's got to come in here. He's got to. The sign is up. He's coming in. What will Dano do? Surely he will also follow pursuit here. AMS comes in as well. So we'll see a flurry of activity.
Yeah, Mr. Grumpy's gained 1.5 seconds in the middle stage on Eurofin. So the conditions are perfect for dry tyres now as the pit lane is very busy.
Yeah, and look at that. We're just watching Dano here. We'll watch Jack Lacey, see what tyres he opts for, and he'll go straight for the whites, and that's a good move there, isn't it, for Jack? AMS,
yeah, I think
what will they go for?
Yeah, the medium's definitely the best tyre in these conditions. Getting Freaker, 3 second time limit. I mean,
AMS has been held. AMS has been held, Big C. So AMS has been held. Who's coming down the pit lane at this rate? It's Mr. Grumpy, so this could be quite interesting. There's a flurry of activity in the pit lane. Where will Grumpy feed at? This is going to be a barrage of traffic here, but look at that, there's 4, 5, 6 cars coming out, and look at that, he's going to come out right next to to Warren Haig here. Will Mr. Grumpy use his fresher tyres, well, more warmer tyres here to make a move? This is going to be interesting, isn't it, Big C?
Yeah, definitely. Mr. Grumpy has to get the move done. You know, he's got QPR base and the slow McLaren just ahead, so Mr. Grumpy has to use all of his experience.
Here he is side by side with Warren Haig. Haig breaks later and he runs Mr. Grumpy out. He runs him out and Grumpy has to go on the grass. So was that naughty from Haig, or did he just not judge the tyres well in these conditions? And Mr. Grumpy won't be happy, will he? Look at him.
No, he doesn't look happy at all. We can see a bit of steam coming from the cockpit there, but I think Haig did the right thing. That's how you defend.
Yeah, and just a word, Big C. Wacko had a change of wing, and now he's found himself in ninth behind all of these drivers, and Oogie Azim's looking very, very anxious behind. Look at him. Look at this. No, he's made the move, so Oogie's got ahead of Wacko. But they are tussling a little bit. We'll go back.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happened to Jolyon Manu there, but he's down in P10 on a set of soft tyres.
Maybe.
So yeah, it's gone from bad to worse.
Yeah, but what JP did say is that rain could be expected again towards the latter part of this race. So maybe Joel's keeping an eye on that. Maybe he just prefers the balance on the softs, but I just feel like it could be a little too late. He's got to hope for a miracle if he wants a title, as we see Oogie Azim and Wacko battle for 8th and 9th here. Big C.
Oogie Azim struggling a little bit in these tricky conditions. He doesn't have that natural racing feel in these conditions. As Wacko looks to make the move down to turn 1, Renault versus Renault. Wacko, can he make a move round the outside of Oogie Azim? A little bit of contact between the F1 teams, but Oogie Azim does get his elbows out. Wacko down the inside again. side by side, but I think Ugi Azim uses a lot of that experience from F1 to hold back his teammate from season 20.
I just wonder, is Haig going to go for a move on QPR Beast and he thinks better of it? So we'll go back on board with Wako here. Obviously, doesn't seem to be much movement at the moment. Jolien and Manu's actually looking fairly fast on the yellow tyres, but I think the damage's been done, hasn't it? You know, you don't spin out, do you, Big C, in a race of this magnitude?
No, not in a title finale. I never did it. You never did it. I think that's what separates champions from, you know, the runners-up and the nearly men, I'm afraid. But we need is Jack versus AMS. Jack will be winning the title as it stands, and he's 5.5 clear of Dano.
Yeah, look at Jack Lacey. He must be loving these conditions. He knows that is coming home. And special guest in the Haas garage here today, Steve Bruce, Aston Villa manager, looks on. He's happy with what he's seen. He would describe this as long ball tactics, and Jack Lacey, you know, using those tactics to the extreme conditions here, and he's judged them perfectly so far.
Yeah, but Dano a couple of attempts faster on that last lap, but I think Jack, with his experience, you know, he is an F1 champion. He will have the consistency.
Grumpy contact. Big C, take us through this.
So Mr. Grumpy and Haig, rivals in Formula 4, battling for third of the championship. Can Mr. Grumpy make the move? Tries to go around outside. A beautiful helicopter kind of Jolien Manu sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. But Haig, he's been racing 7.5 years. He knows how to defend. He's been doing this. He does it in his sleep. And what defending from Mr. Haig there. Beautiful from Haig, Kieran.
Yes, and look at Mr. Grumpy. He's angry. He's angry as Grumps. He's having a go back round the outside of Warren Haig. Warren Haig would just run that one out. Oh, Grumpy should have seen that one coming. I would have just tried the up and under, even though that might not have been successful. But Warren Haig taking absolutely no prisoners here tonight. And Mr. Grumpy is absolutely fuming. Look at that, he runs wide. These two are in a hotly contested battle for third in the drivers in F1. Look at that, Grumpy is struggling.
Has he got damage? Has he got problems?
No, I think he just won the grass. He won the grass, so he lost rear end grip there. So Warren Haig will be smiling behind the cockpit after that. Some great driving. You know, it's good to see two veteran drivers go hammer and tongs. You know, even if it is for 6th and 7th. Haig, you know, he's been on the harsh end of some car selections, hasn't he, Big C?
Yeah, I mean, I'd make a little complaint to Ugi before the race. Yeah, I think Haig has been a victim of his own success. He's got the job done compared to someone like Mr. Grumpy, who's had the Force India or better for the whole season. So, all I'm saying is, I think if Haig had Grumpy's qualifications, Haig would be winning the championship.
Yeah. Oh, there's a move here. Ugi Azim trying to go around the outside of Mr. Grumpy. I don't think Mr. Grumpy is going to admire that one bit, but Ugi will have the DRS, and I tell you what, both these cars are very similar in power. Both of them are Renault powered. Red Bull haven't got a good powertrain package, and Ugi Azim makes a professional move as we see Haig and QPR Beast jostle here for 6th and 5th. Big C, you know these two drivers very well, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. I think QPR Beast has been the star of the race and that McLaren Honda. We've seen Ash Best outperform, but I think QPR Beast is doing an even better job to outperform it. With all these long straights, his McLaren Honda should be well down the field. He should be battling the likes of Jolien Manu and Game Freaker today. But no, he's battling Red Bulls, he's battling Ugi Azim, he's battling Warren Haig, you know. QPR Beast is just outperforming that McLaren Honda today.
And I looked in the background, Mr. Grumpy's gone wide again. The grass is going to affect his grip, and I wonder if Waco's going to have a look down here. He's got some terrific drive. Will he go for a little late breaker? Is he going to fancy it? He is. He's going to have a go. And look at that. Mr. Grumpy makes it tight for him, and that is brilliant driving between the pair not to collide there. Just had a feeling if Grumpy went wide, then Waco would have a go. And yeah, this could be one of the next on-track battles, but we'll go back on board with Haig, who is in close proximity here to Louis Big C.
Yeah, Haig looking really strong, but Mr. Grumpy looks to be struggling. I know you said that you ran wide onto the grass, but I don't know if he's got some green front wing damage, because his pace is just dreadful at the minute. Mr. Grumpy's struggling out there. I don't know if he's got a little bit of damage, but Warren Haig has got a DRS. Will he make the move down on QPR? But it's a late move, Daniel Ricciardo-esque, but he runs wide. And Louis surely will complete the cutback, and he does. But Louis, naive, he tried to run him off there, but ran too far.
Yeah, this is going to be contested, isn't it, down to turn one. I wonder if Ugi Azim is having a go at all of them.
Three in a bed.
Three in a bed, as Mark would say, and Haig goes around the outside of all of them. What's happening here? What's happening here? Ugi Azim having a look. Haig! Very optimistic there, and Ugi Azim might have a run, but struggles for traction. Three are the worst. No, it's very good
The
racing.
Red Bull driving for Warren Haig there, but he's got it on the track and remains behind QPR base. Well, look at that, 5 cars. QPR base, Warren Haig, Uzi, Mr. Beyond Wacko. Soon to be Jolion Manu catching up to the quintet of drivers here, battling for P5. Or was it quad? I don't know.
Well, quintet sounds funny. So, you know, I wouldn't say that was dreadful from Haig. I'd just say that's classy, you know, a driver of his experience. Just trying something different, going for an overtake. Doesn't matter if it's too ambitious. You just want to see it. And look at that, has another look. And that's why we love Haig. He can do the unpredictable. He is a driver who will fight tooth and nail until the very end. Anthony Warren Haig, one of the most feared drivers on the grid, very successful, very experienced, and he is absolutely enjoying himself out there as he battles QPR beasts for 5th place, and I reckon he will want to make the move. There's a bit of lag, Big C, there's a bit of lag.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of lag as well, so I'm glad. Mr. Grumpy and Wacko exchanging position. There's all sorts of lag. Is it for you?
Yeah, the whole grid's lag. JP, we need you to
the
confirm.
Fox.
Yeah, it's there's bad lag there.
Red flag.
Oh,
it's
VFP
dreadful.
title finale is going one way. Oh my goodness. Who can we go on board with? That looks alright. Is there anybody that looks normal?
Keep your base.
Does it look alright? Yeah. We'll stay on board with
Not on
QPR.
my screen, it's not.
No, something very dodgy. You know, any of the viewers watching, you know, just let us know.
Side by side. Warren Haig. But I don't know if it's going to be a red flag at this rate, because it looks dreadful out there.
Oh, what an overtake there from Warren Haig, is it? Oh my goodness, there's Toro Rosso, there's Red Bull racing cars everywhere, Mr. Grumpy, Warren Haig, and some people just don't know what they're watching. I'm seeing cars go wide, there's a 3-second time penalties involved as well, and my goodness me, you know, just before the conditions change for this race has thrown up another storm, and there is a session.
Mr. Grumpy has left the session.
I think there's quite a few that's left, Big C. No, so we
To
don't.
do.
No. The timing screen's gone wrong.
But
So-
people are continuing, so I don't know if it was just Mr. Grumpy with the issues, because things are now back to normal. Things are back to normal, Aaron. So
Yeah, they
surely we
are.
continue. We have to
do.
continue as normal.
Yeah,
I don't
Joel,
know
up to nine.
who's to do.
I don't know, but there is going to be a movement here. Maybe will Walker have a go? Apparently Haig is in the no, but no, he's having a go here at QPRB. So the timing streams are fucked. You know, the name tags are fucked. The streams fucked.
Well, there's nothing we can do but improvise on the situation. So, you know, I can look at the race starters and keep us informed on the positions. Jack Lacey, Dino, MS, Throne, Cooper Beast, Warren Haig, Oogie Azine, Wacko, Johnny Manu, and Mr. Grumpy, who has disconnected, I'm afraid.
We'll have to hide the.
Nathan, I've just got some team radio in from Mr. Grumpy. What the actual fuck do you think you were doing, Haig, he says, just before his retirement. So, Mr. Grumpy, not happy they.
No, not happy, and we're watching Warren Haig here. He's battling over what I believe is 6th and 5th place. You know, it does say Warren Haig's in the McLaren. No, he is in the Red Bull at this moment in time. But look at this, Haig's got so much more grip against the McLaren Honda. It's only a matter of time, isn't it? It's only a matter of time. Look how close Haig gets to the back of QPR Beast.
Yeah, QPR Beast in that Honda-powered car, but Warren Haig has to get the job done. He needs to do a Danny Rick on the Danny Rick fan. And yeah, I got a bit confused. Was Warren Haig's name tag? It's on Louis' car, so a few problems with the
Yeah, I've hidden the tags. That's fine. I've hidden the order, but that's all right. Look at this. Will Warren Haig have a go? He fancies it. He's got a bit of grip, and look how he goes for it. And very tight, wheel to wheel. But now Haig has got him right where he wants him. He's got the DRS. Force him to the inside. And take a wide late apex. I think that's what Haig's going to plan here. Wide late apex to get the drive. No, he goes deeper. No, he does. He takes the wide late apex here just to get the drive out of the corner. But it's not good enough. It's just not good enough. But it's going to be very tight when they go wheel to wheel down the end of the straight here, Big Steve.
Yep, to-do's out, so I think Game Freaker's out the Grand Prix. Will Warren Haig go down the inside into turn 1 on QPR base? No, QPR base. You know, he's an experienced young man nowadays. You know, he's turned out to be a very competent driver, an asset to PSGL, and he's shown why. You know, he's a top talent in his QPR base, and you know, he's driving beautifully in that McLaren, which is just like 2 seconds slower than the Red Bull.
It is, and look at that, Haig just sticks behind. And look at that, if you look behind, you've got, I believe it's Ugi Azim, I can tell by the green helmet, because, you know, it's in Pakistani colours. And from Wako just behind there in the Renault as well. So will Ugi Azim fancy a little bite, you know? At Haig.
I think
He looks better, he looks better here.
A bite.
Oh, you'd have to go for a lunge, it's risky, and no, thinks better of it. So Haig's got
There's
a
all
look
to play for P5, certainly. But yeah, I need to just notify you of something. Dano has got the gap down to 3.6 seconds at the front, so you know Dino's chipping away slowly but steadily in that Ferrari.
Yeah, so this is the main battle to watch, isn't it? So look at that, Ugi is in very close to Warren Haig here. So I wonder if there could be any possible movement. That Renault is actually very good in the straight line compared to the Red Bull, surprisingly. So Ugi Azim is actually getting some good purchase, isn't he, out of that engine?
Yeah, definitely. As Warren Haig breaks very late there, nearly hits the back of QPR Beast. So the name tags seem to have fixed themselves for me at least. But yeah, Warren Haig has to get the move done. He's miles faster than QPR Beast. And there's a yellow flag out there for some reason, but I'm not sure why. Maybe JP can keep us updated on things going on up and down the field.
Ooh, Haig! Big C, Haig!
There's a Renault's gone on the grass on the main on the pit
Oh my
straight.
goodness!
Warren
There's
Haig.
contact!
Dreadful from Warren Haig there. Dreadful.
I thought it was a legitimate overtake. I didn't see it very clearly, but very, very tight there. And look at that. QPR Beast goes very defensive in the McLaren Honda, and I wonder if Joel's made contact with Ugi Azim. My title dream's over, so is yours, and that's what Joel says to Ugi. And a miserable day for Jolyon Manu continues, but he's got the overtake done. He's got to continue. Doesn't matter how you overtake, you just got to continue. But look at that. Will he get the position back? No. I've got the move done. I've got to continue. What do you think of that, Big C?
Yeah, I think I was caught at the end, and I'm afraid it's desperation from Jolyon Manu. It's embarrassing. It's a shame. I'm sad to see, but you know, that's racing.
It is racing, but wow, you know, the desperation really creaking in with some title battlers. They've really got no chance of getting themselves in this battle. But you know, so let us just remind you.
Ugi Azim on Jolyon Manu down into the penultimate corner here. Side by side action going on.
Yeah, Joel will have a go back here. Big C, take us through this. And who's looking at behind? Is that Juho Finn? It's Juho Finn, Big C. Juho Finn having a look. But Joel, he's got to get the purchase of the power here. Doesn't want Ugi Azim to get away. Ugi's got DRS for some very strange reason. So that is incredibly strange. And Juho Finn having a look here. JP, you know, what do you make of this race so far? You know, your man AMS is not on course to win the title if the results stay as it is.
Yeah, which is a shame, obviously, from my own point of view. But yeah, it's been an eventful race, and DC from Grumpy there caused a little bit of chaos, which seems to have calmed down now. I don't know what's going on because the time screens on my screen at least are well all over the place. So yeah, but at least the racing seems to be entertaining at least.
Yeah, somebody's just come in for Super Softs. Is that Joel, I wonder? No, it's Wako. So Wako's having a dreadful race so far. In 10th is the stricken car of Mr. Grumpy, and Juho Finn seems to have had an off somewhere. So Juho Finn's had an off somewhere, Big C.
Yeah, so dreadful for Juho Finn, but Dino's got the gap down in front of 3 seconds. So hopefully we'll have a little battle for the front in the final 9 laps.
Yeah, and you can look at how far they are in front of AMS. You know, if you're AMS in third, will you just be banking on Dano to do something here? You know, is that your hope? Because if Dano passes Jack and wins the race, does that mean AMS is the champion?
Correct. The gap is 6 points between the duo. So at the moment, Jack is getting 6 points over AMS. So they'll finish on level points, but Jack will win it on races 1.
Okay, so if Jack Lacey finishes second, AMS finishes third, then Jack Lacey will be your champion.
Pretty much. So it's in Dino. No, you said it was in God's hands to Joel before the race. Well, it's in Dano's hands today.
Yeah, but it was in Joel's hands, but those hands have just fell off. But here we go. Where's Warren Haig? He's still stuck behind QPR beast. There's no movement here. This title finale, it's just not going the way of some drivers here today. But Jack Lacey will be partying tonight, Big C. You know him very well. If the race stays like this, you know, how happy will he be?
Yeah, no, I think Jack's a man to show too much emotion, especially happier emotions. But you know, a title. You know, it's been a tough game for Jack. No, his teammates with him. We didn't have the best season together, so I think this will be, you know, a saving grace, and of course, it'll be entry into the race of champions.
Yeah, you know, some of us wanted to prohibit entry to certain drivers, but Jack Lacey always knows how to wrangle his way into such big events. A former PSGL F1 champion, let's not forget, as we watch Hay chase down QPR Beast. And you just want this race to end now, don't you? You've seen enough actions happened, but these drivers have got to crease it around for another 8 or 9 laps.
Yeah, well, I think Warren Haig versus QPR Beast, but Warren Haig's decided to stop. Warren Haig has decided to pit here, and I'm not sure what he's thinking now. I don't know what you're thinking, JP, but Warren Haig has decided to pit for a new set of tyres.
Yeah, strange decision that, because rain was predicted in the last few laps. Whether that'll come down quick enough towards the end or not, I don't know. But yeah, I would have stayed out, and he would have known that the rain was due at the end of the race, so I would have stayed out and maybe take those tyres to the end if possible.
Yeah, I agree. And Jolyon Manu's pitted. Obviously, he was on softs, not medium, so he's on for a set of supers. But Dino's got the gap down to 2.2 seconds with 8 laps to go. Yeah,
we've got to ride on board with Dano, because obviously he will want to win this race for himself. But Jack can let him go and still win the title, can't he? I believe. But you know,
sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah, if Dano wins, then obviously AMS will win the title. So Jack will have to fight hard. This is for the championship, so that's why it's so important he has. AMS will be praying that Dano makes the move in the closing laps.
Yeah, and you know, I'm just looking at the points difference. Big C is 6 points that separate. No, is that wrong? No, the standings are wrong, aren't they?
No, it's 6 points, isn't it?
Yes, there's 6 points that separate AMS and Jack Lacey. So, Big C, if Jack does finish second and AMS finishes third, AMS will win the title.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So if Dano wins, then AMS is champion.
Oh yes. Sorry, we're just making sure we're clear about that, because I'm following the wrong tracks. All these names start to sound the same after a while. But
you're looking at Ash Best's name, I think.
I don't know who I'm looking at, but yeah, this is a very big race in the careers of AMS and Jack. You know, hearts will be beating. Jack will be praying for the end. So, as you said, Big C, it is in Dano's hands. Yeah,
definitely is. So yeah, 1.5 seconds once that Ferrari is in the RS range. You know, Gunter Steiner looking on as his man is still leads the Grand Prix, and there's a driver out. I don't know who.
Oh, Renault, Ugi Azim, championship up in smokes here at Sepang, Malaysia, in the Kuala Lumpur circuit. Ugi Azim will be on the first flight back home to Pakistan. He's out, and the dream's over. Another year of disappointment. 2 years of disappointment, and will it be 3 in a row on the 2018 game? Big C.
Yeah, but it's important to note the constructors battle. I'm pretty sure the constructors are slightly wrong. Best Ugi on 129 with Big J on 124. So if Joel scores 5 points, which is the 6th place, then Big J would win the Constructors' Championship, I believe.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, you are part of Team Big J, not racing tonight. You know, if he was on the grid tonight, do you think you could have made those strategy calls, just offered Joel a bit of calmness in the party to maybe, you know, aid his title battle, or you know, did he not have a chance to begin with?
No, I think it's down to yourself, and you know, I'm not God, so there's not much I could have done, I'm afraid. Who knows how the race would have gone? But yeah. This is history, this is destiny, this is people's destiny today. It's just meant to be.
Yeah, so at the moment, if the results stay as it is, To-Do will finish first, second and third, but looking at Dano closing in on the back of Jack Lacey. And I wonder if tyre wear will play a part in this, because we know that the Haas doesn't have particularly good tyres. We've seen Jolyon and Manu suffer a last lap puncher, so Jack Lacey surely must be aware of having to protect his tyres, but with Dano closing in rapidly, it could all change.
definitely. So I think we've got to shoot. I think that's going to be the only battle looking at the data we've got there.
And it's the best
Dano
one.
versus. Definitely, that's what we're all here for. That's what all the viewers. We've got lots of viewers today. 13 viewers. Lots of CC Brain, Cliffy, Gaming Alimonda, Ian Simcox, Human Fish, Tajur. They're all here. And
Yeah, and it's great to have Tajur in here. Where is he? You know, good to see old man Tajur, you know, one of our favourite, you know, admins that we were admins under, you know, always able to solve situations very effectively, you know, very directly. And, you know, we will definitely, you know, miss his presence on the PSGL grid. You know, the true god of PSGL is Tajur. But here we go. Dano here, closing in on the back of Jack Lacey. 1.4 seconds is the gap. That could come down to within a second, and once Dano gets DRS, then Jack Lacey's mind will start to wander slightly, wouldn't it?
yeah, it's going to be a nervy ending. Jack doesn't have the likes of Luke Green and Maxi Luca to hold his hand like he did in season 17 F1, where we commentated on the title finale under the twilight of Abu Dhabi. So it could be a dramatic ending.
Yeah, and look at that, through the middle sector, Dano just looks so much more better. He's getting a lot more purchase on those medium tyres, and I'll tell you what, in a lap or two he will be within DRS range, and Jack Lacey's, you know, hopes for a title, AMS's hopes for a title will be in God's hands, and that God is going to be Dano here in the Ferrari. You know, JP, you've battled Dano for the final point here, seeing him up here in second, you know, does it give you a little bit of jealousy?
Yeah, it does. It makes me very envious, really. I think he could win this race, but it's some sectors that Jack is faster than him, and maybe put out a couple of attempts on Dano. So Dano is going to have to work hard to get that first place.
He is indeed. And who's in fifth? It's Juho Finn, Big C. Juho Finn's in fifth. You know, that is brilliant, isn't it? Good drive so
Definitely.
far. So
Yeah,
JP,
amazing. I think him and QPRB is definitely the drives of the day thus far.
where is QPRB? He's fourth, a great drive in the McLaren. So there'll be a lot of jealousy, JP, seeing Juho in fifth, isn't there? You know, a lot of jealousy with that one.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me, Aaron. Like I said before, I'm relatively happy with my season, but if you look at how many points he's scored this season, we've both been in the same car. So yeah, he's always scored a lot more points than me. I think I've had a better second half to the season than he has, but obviously he made the most of that first half, and he's been brilliant all season, really. But yeah, so kudos to him.
That's great to hear. Great, very sporting. But we're back on board here, Big C, with Dano. He did get the gap to within a second, but he's made a mistake, I believe, somewhere. So, Jack Lacey, is he going to be the man to win it, do you think?
I'm not sure. Jack will be fighting hard. Will be fighting for this title. You know, but Dano, you know, he's chasing his prey down. He's like a red lion, chasing his prey, chasing for his dinner this evening. Dano wants to end the season on a victory, on a high, and you know, I think Dano's. If you think of FP and PSGL, you think of Dano. He's always there. He's always fighting, and you know, to end the season to win, it would just be amazing for him.
It would be, but you know, it's a nervous stage of the race. Said, you know, AMS must feel hopeless, but he must know that there's a gap in front, and Dano can be the man to definitely rattle the affairs. 3 laps to go now. The gap is within a second. If he closes that down even more, he will be in the DRS range next lap, and then we'll see some pressure, won't we?
Yeah, definitely. I think the last 2 laps are going to be dramatic indeed, but you know, Jack has the experience. He's got the talent. Dano, you know, he's probably not used to being in this sort of position.
But we did see an incident in F4, Big C, when a driver who's not normally up there was behind a race leader on the final lap, and look at that, Dano makes an error there. But you know, if Dano was to get close to Jack, you know, will that give him a little bit of excitement on the final lap, perhaps, and maybe run into the back?
Maybe so, but Jack's doing enough because that gap is maintained at 1.2 seconds. You can't let Dano get into that DRS range.
He can't, but surely the nerves, you know, fuel loads, you know, it'll all be coming into play. You know, the hearts are beating. The audience watching here today, their hearts are also beating as Jack Lacey looks on course to win his second ever PSGL title. But Dano here wants to have something to say about it. He can't get within DRS range, and the penultimate lap is usually one of the most crucial laps to keep a driver out of that DRS range, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, definitely. But I think Jack is just doing just enough. You know, it's only 1.2 seconds, so you know it's looking half down. He needs to start using a bit more of that fuel. He's on standard revs.
So maybe content with the podium. You know, take what I can get. Don't get involved in the title battles. So Jack Lacey starts his penultimate lap here, and you know, is he going to win?
Nerves. I think he looks to have enough. He's not a man who tends to make major mistakes. He's very consistent. He's very solid, and he's, you know, quite frankly, he's one of the best drivers on PSGL. So, you know, he's doing enough at the minute. And Dano has dropped to 1.4 seconds. It looks to be over here. It's 1.3 seconds, 1.4.
Yeah, and that's what a cool head does. You know, a good start, good qualifying, total control in the race, and Jack Lacey will take home what will be a well-deserved title. He's still got a lap to go, so anything can happen. But AMS, you know, the dream's over. You know, he would not have expected Dano to be that cork in between him and Jack Lacey. If Dano wasn't here today, AMS would have been champion. You know, it's not over yet. Still another lap to go, but it does look done and dusted at this moment in time. You know, there will be hearts that are broken elsewhere.
Yeah, so AMS in third at the minute with QBR beats an amazing fourth. Shiro fifth with Warhead sixth. Joel will be seventh. Flying Foam eighth. Wacko MP9 at the minute as we approach the final lap.
Yeah, and where is Jack Lacey from, Big C? Where's he from? He's from the Midlands.
Stamford, like Peterborough, around that area. Well, it's Stamford to be exact. A short drive from Leicester. So as Jack Lacey approaches the line, the final time in form performance, he leads by 1.4 seconds ahead of Dano in the Ferrari. AMS is third. So as it stands, Jack Lacey will be the champion here.
And Big C,
you've commentated on this all season, so this is the moment you want to take over and showcase our new champion.
They say that PSGL Formula Performance is one of the most popular leagues on the site. The drivers enjoy racing on them. You know, JP Greenwood enjoys racing in it on a weekly basis. Big C, 7-time PSGL F1 champion, enjoys racing on it. But today is going to be Jack Lacey's day. He's got a couple of sectors to go, chased down by Dano. But this is his moment. The red helmet beams on. And, you know, his heart will be beating. He's going to be on course to win his second PSGL championship. As he approaches the end of the second sector here. And Gunther Steiner gives one last look over the pit wall. And he is absolutely in ecstasy at this moment in time. Jack Lacey has got one more back straight to go. The man from the Midlands, Stamford, eat your heart out and rise. Jack Lacey is going to be on course to win his second PSGL title. Fan of Aston Villa, we've got some Aston Villa players here today, including Gabby O'Bunlahore, as Steve Bruce gives one last look out through the pit lane. Jack Lacey comes out of the final corner, and he is going to be your Formula Performance champion, and he wins the Malaysian Grand Prix. Jack Lacey is champion again. Great second place for Dano, and you know, you've got to give it up for AMS in the Toro Rosso. He's driven really well, but he's going to be a nearly man. Look at that, he slides out of the final corner. Frustration for AMS, not enough today, not enough, Big C. And who's fourth? Who's fourth?
It's QPR Beast here, and what a drive. I think he's my driver today. Outstanding performance from Louis in the McLaren Honda.
Just started raining.
It has indeed, thank you JP. So it's going to be QPR Beast driving to the line in fourth. Warren Haig will become having six. But Juro friend, look like JP. You must, a bit of jealousy, but you know, you've got to give credit to Juro there.
Yeah, I definitely credit where credit is due.
Definitely. So
and what about Joel, Big C? 7 years in the making, but it's only going to be 7th place. There's disappointment for Jolyon and Manu. It will be third in the driver's standings, but a race gone from bad to worse. He couldn't keep it on the road in the intermediate tyres, and you know, this is a disappointing sight to see. You know, the whole of Ballymoney were rooting for Jolyon and Manu's experience, but it's just not enough for him. But it's Jack Lacey who is the PSGL Formula Performance champion, and what a champion's drive that was here at Sepang, Malaysia for the last time we'll ever see this circuit. Big C, just describe this moment here as, the podium celebrations here. Look at him, he's happy.
I think any title, especially with R17, you've won for every title means a lot. I think, you work hard all season, all game for moments like these. I think Jack, he missed a few races, but he's came back stronger. There's a lot of criticism, some people don't like the way he acts off track, but there's no doubting, his talents, his ability, especially in the wet conditions. He's just outstanding. So a worthy champion, and of course, unfortunate for AMS and Shoulder Manu. So yes, I will be popping out for a few minutes. So
that's all
I'll
right.
let you conduct the interviews.
That's right. And let's not forget, Ugi Azim's efforts this season. The admins have both done a great job. AMS and Ugi throughout the whole season in their car selections. But it's a great drive from Jack Lacey there to win the championship. Dano drove really well to finish second. AMS third in Toro Rosso, not enough. It could have been his day. He was the championship leader heading into this race, and finishes the level on points with Jack Lacey, but Jack Lacey takes the title on more wins. Great drive to finish in fourth for QPR Beasts. In fifth we have Juho Finn, who drove really well. Sixth it's Warren Haig. Seventh Jolyon and Manoon, just not his day. And in eighth we have Flying Frame. Ninth we had the Renault of Wako, and the final point goes to Mr. Grumpy, but he did not. He was not part of the session. He disconnected halfway through. But Jack Lacey is your champion, and we will get him into the party very shortly. So I'll only get a few people in for this one. 1 second. So I don't know if you've got Dano added. It might be useful to suggest him into the party.
I haven't, unfortunately.
Alright, I'll just type in Dano and see what comes up.
Dano.
There you go, I've got him. Right, so we'll just wait for the podium finishers to come in. But Jack Lacey, what an absolute phenomenal drive to win the title there, JP. And what was your highlight of the season?
For me, it had to be the Austria race. It was probably one of my best drives I've ever had, to be honest, on the 2017 games. So yeah, that was my highlight. But I'm going to head off. But before I go, I just want to say duty to everyone for the season, and congratulations to Jack on the title, well deserved. And that's been what I want to say before I go. Just thank you to all the people who supported me who's watched FP this season. It means a lot. Couldn't do it for you two tonight, unfortunately, but I'm ready for next season. So thanks for that.
No, thank you, JP, for joining us mid-race, pretty much every race weekend. So thank you so much for that.
No worries, mate. No worries, mate. See you later. Bye now.
That's all right. So who have we got in this particular party? We've got 3 drivers, haven't we, so far? So we've got Jack Lacey, we've got Ugi Azim, and we've got QPR Beast. Am I correct?
You are correct.
You are correct, Aaron.
Okay, so we will now start with Jack Lacey, your Formula Performance champion. You're a PSGL champion once again, Jack. How does it feel? Describe your emotions.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you all, because I know you wanted Joe to win. But obviously it's decent to win something again. Obviously not quite the same as the F1 title, but I'll take it also. And it was a hard race, to be fair, because I think like lap 15 or something. The lobby just glitched out, and I literally couldn't see anything. I couldn't see what gear I was in or anything, so that's why I was so slow towards the end of the race, and they catch me up.
Wow.
But, yeah, managed to win. So.
Yeah, I mean, it did glitch for us mid-race as well, so we were also struggling to identify who was in what position, so we made do with what we could see. But You know, what a drive under such torrential conditions. You know, to win the championship. You know, Jack. You know, it gives you an entry into the Race of Champions. So, you know, what are your hopes for that?
Yeah, obviously it's good to race in the Race Champions. I'll be open to obviously win or get a podium or whatever. We'll see. Yeah, decent.
Okay, no, thank you for that. And we're just going to see if we can get you know, any of the other drivers involved as well. Obviously, you know, it would have been nice to hear from Jolyon and Manu, but understandably, you know, we know Jolyon and Manu is at a low point at this moment in time. So we'll go right straight to QPR Beast, you know, one of the drivers of the day in a McLaren Honda to finish fourth. You know, just sum up your emotions after that race.
I'm happy personally, but I'm sad for Joel. Obviously, it's a shame how it ended. But obviously, well done to Jack. You had a great season, so you deserve it. But yeah, personally, it was a good race, really. One of the best ever. So can't be said anymore.
Yeah. An outstanding driver
Right, Aaron?
there.
Thanks.
Obviously, you know, Warren Hay got quite a lot of criticism for his driving. You know, I thought your defending was, you know, at perfection at times. You know, how was it battling Haig? And you know, is the criticism fair?
I really enjoyed the battle. Actually, just first of all, it was good fun. I was always on the edge, you know, wondering whether he would die from it. He did try a couple of times. The criticism, you know, it's probably fair, to be honest. A couple of them were a bit crazy, especially I think at turn 2 when he kind of took out Oogie, I think it was. But
Yeah.
it was good.
No, and I'd like to send my support out to Warren Haig, who I thought drove really well today to finish where he did. You know, obviously he put on a show. You know, he's an entertaining driver, and you know that's why we love having him in the leagues on the PSGL site. He's a true asset. You know, for us, you know, with what he produces, a very committed, experienced racer, and you know, always up for a fight, which is what we like to see. Before we move on to Oogie Big C, we're just gonna see if we can have a little word with Joel. It was billed, you know, as 7 years in the making, but it ended up with a 7th place finish and no title to show. How are the emotions in the Joel camp at the moment?
Yeah, it is what it is. Congrats to Jack. I only have one person to blame, and that's me, unfortunately. And it all went wrong in qualifying, and I sort of knew from that it was going to be a struggle. And then I made some errors myself that, you know, I have no excuse for. They're just, you know, getting bedded in the wheel, probably a mistake there, but you know, I made that decision and I'll live with the consequences. You know, it's only a league at the end of the day. I still have to go to work tomorrow, but yeah, it's a shame that I didn't get the title. But yeah, well done to Jack.
And myself and Big C thought that you drove extraordinarily well all season, Joel. You know, you got yourself into the mix against some very, you know, much faster drivers. You know, Big C, is there anything that you want to say to Joel, you know, as your teammates with him in this league?
Yeah, obviously, Joel, you know, it's been an outstanding season. I think you've outperformed the cars at times, especially later on when we had similar cars like at Monza. So, obviously, you know, a title is nice, but I think the respect of your peers and, you know, the community sometimes is more than a title. You know, you can have as many titles as you like, but you need the recognition, and, you know, I think everyone respects what you've achieved this season. So, I think you have to look back on it as, you know, a proud moment. It's only one race, and, you know, performed well in pretty much on all of them. So, yeah, on to the next one.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and whether the next one could be a Race of Champions place, who knows? You know, you don't know who a wild card could be. You know, they're drawn out at random. We just close our eyes and pick a name out of a hat. So who knows?
Have we spoken to Oogie yet?
We're going to speak with Oogie. You know, Oogie, you know, out of the title contenders today, you know, you had
the Constructors champion.
He's a Constructors champion, but let's just focus on the negatives first. You know, obviously a disastrous day for you in the office. You know, you lost your car, you lost your wheel, you lost any hope and glimmer of a championship here tonight. You know, how does it feel?
Amazing. It was like a shitty way to go out. My wheel just disconnected and it was in the middle of the corner and the car spun and hit the wall. And that was that. But before that there was quite questionable driving from Warren, which may or may not end up in the stewards because that was ridiculous. But congrats to Jack Lacey on a brilliant season. And hard luck to Joel. I'm sure he's going to come back stronger, and now that he's on the wheel, he's going to get better and better. So look out for him, and hopefully next season he'll be up there fighting again.
Yeah, and commiserations also to AMS. Now, Big C, before we ask Oogie any further questions, I just want to get a few words from you for some of our viewers watching maybe in South Asia.
Paji. Gee, Paji.
A few more.
कैसा आप तो सिर्फ दसो ना सीजन कैसा लगा था एफपी था अच्छा सी सीजन
बहुत अच्छा सी वार्न ने कि ड्राइव में बहुत खूबसूरत सी
चंगा ड्राइवर है ना बहुत ही चंगा ड्राइवर है
yeah, so I loved his driving it. I thought Warren Haig made the season what it was with some of his battles in the midfield. They were brilliant. Big C, any questions for Oogie?
Obviously, you know, you've done a great job in running the league alongside AMS. It's likely you'll be retained by the directors to run the league for the coming seasons. Have you got any changes in mind of the allocation, or is there closing words you'd like to say to the drivers and our viewers?
Well, hopefully the game will be stable enough for us to go back to 20 cars, and we will be looking at the pace of the drivers before the next season to see if we have a well-balanced grid, and might have to finger pick some drivers to make it even more balanced because the top 3 teams are going to be slightly further away in pace the coming game, I think. So let's see when the game comes. Nothing is final right now, but thank you guys for watching, and it was a fun season to race in. I think people enjoyed it, so hopefully next season we have some more action and a lot more fun as well.
No, that's great to hear. You know, and I just want one closing word from Jack Lacey as the champion, Big C, you know, and I want you to ask the next question.
Jack, you know, it's been a tough game for you, but it's a nice confidence boost. You know, you'll be at the Racing Champions on the 19th of August as we head into from 2018. You know, is there any final words you've got to say as we end the FP season?
This game in general.
That's been good.
No, and that's exactly what we want to hear. So thank you. Go on, Big C. Go on, one.
I think that sums up Jack Lacey to a T. Well, I think, as on behalf of the directors, I'd like to thank Oogie and AMS for running the FP League, and it's certainly a fun league. But I think Iran deserves a lot of the credit as well. You know, he's promoted the league beautifully on the stream, and the Twitter account is gaining followers by the day. So thanks to Iran for his great streams and commentary, and of course the admins and all the drivers, and we'll be back stronger for 18 years.
Thank you very much, Big C, for joining me as well today, and all the racers, the watchers on the stream for supporting us this season. If you haven't subscribed, give it a cheeky subscribe, and we'll see you next time out, maybe on the next game. So thank you and goodbye.